This is Johnny Jones, your AFG Local 1040 President, and also your Council 100 Secretary Treasurer, coming to you from Jaguar Studios. Today is April the 8th, 2026. Well, first and foremost, we have been through the longest government shutdown, and we're still technically in the longest government shutdown. We haven't made any videos lately because information has been so clouded, so it's difficult to pass along information when you don't even know what you're passing along. So, the first and foremost, let's talk about the memorandum that comes out for pay period 6. It looks like we're all going to get paid for pay period 3 and pay period 6 this weekend, okay? But going forward, it looks like nobody knows if we're going to get paid continuously unless the government reopens. Now, all indications point to the government reopening sometime early next week. And if it does, then we should go back to normal, and we should be fully funded until September 30th of 2026. So with that, hopefully we can close the book with the government shutdown business and the business that's been going on for the last 5 months. The union has been advocating and been reaching out and connecting with members of Congress on both sides of the aisle and been pushing for a $10,000 bonus for all employees, regardless if they were able to come in through the entire shutdown or not. Many people have lost thousands of dollars in fees, being able to, they have to pay fees, close down things, childcare, whatever it is, borrow money. It never works out well for us because we are going to work, not being paid, while everybody else in the world would get compensated or would have some recourse. Whereas federal employees, we don't have that recourse. So the only recourse we can get truly is through legislation. And believe me, we are working to get that done. And hopefully, we can get that done. We are successful because there's no doubt that each one of us that came in through this entire thing, if we couldn't come in, we are American civil servants and we do the best we can to uphold our Constitution. We care deeply about our jobs. I know we do. Let's talk about the next thing. Everybody's starting to see reports about the privatizational efforts. Make no mistake, privatization is coming. I want every single person that's watching this to think about this very clearly, and I want you to understand this. This can happen to us. I was there at Love Field in August of 2002 while the private screeners were working. And the next day, we all came in while they were working next to us and getting trained. They were all promised bonuses for staying on. Some were promised jobs. Well, let me tell you something about promises. Promises are only promises until they're not kept. And then you were deceived. And then you were told lies. The bottom line is, it can happen to us. It very well can happen to us. Can we be privatized? Yes, we can. Do we want to be privatized? No, we do not. So how do we do it? Be the best at what we do, which is the best at securing the skies. And we're going to remind people what happens when you privatize the TSA. Privatizing the TSA goes back to September 11th. What happened before the federal officers came in and took over? TSOs. There was private screening and bad things happened. We don't want those things to happen. The union is going to be fighting in every which way. We are looking on both sides of the law. We have support and we're gaining traction to stop the privatization. Now, there's certain things we're going to have to fight for, like the cutting 8,000 TSOs. They're going to try that through other means, like reconciliation processes. Stay on the lookout. For the next 6 to 12 months, these are going to be very trying times. Not only are we trying to do our jobs, but there's such an effort by Clear, by Big Bear AI, by all these other places that are trying to take over the privatizational efforts, the Gold Plus, all these different programs you're reading about. You're seeing on these reports by big dollars. I just want you to think about it. Somebody will spend an hour to try to hack in your bank account to steal $5. Just think what people will do if they could privatize all of it. There's billions and billions of dollars on the line here. So people are willing to spend the money to get it done. So make no mistake, the union is your last line of defense. Why do you think they've spent so much time and effort trying to get rid of your contracts and dismantle the union? So it'll be a lot easier to privatize this. Make no mistake, 2020 Project 2025 is our adversary. Okay, now let's talk about what's going on in the shutdown. You haven't seen a lot of your local union reps. That's because we're doing administrative functions. We're not allowed to do our union stuff until everything's back to normal. I do give credit to the local managements. They've been very well and receptive about what's going on. We've been working well with them. Unfortunately, there's other things that we don't agree with. We don't agree with the canceling of the shift bid at DFW. I don't know exactly how we're going to be able to resolve that issue. Okay, because as long as they do one per year, they're in compliance with the CBA. So if they said they're going to do one in October, they'll do one in October. Now, the thing that we're going to have to watch out for and watch with close eyes is when they do mini shift bids. So there's a lot of things out there. But you know what? Some of these things, we would have had a shift bid if we didn't have a 53-day shutdown, whatever we're at right now. It's so long, it's ridiculous. So in this regard, it's probably not the fault of some of the management officials thinking, hey, we may need to push the bid back until a later date because there's other parts of the bid that they have to do. So, but we're going to get that information once we get back into normal operating function. But for on a more of a broader scope, we are going to be definitely advocating for the 7.4% pay increase for everybody. Right now, the president's pay proposal, pay freeze again for everybody. Now you'll get your steps, but a pay freeze after you got almost nothing last year is another slap in the face for federal employees. Why do they do that? Try to get you to quit. That's what they want. They want us all to quit so they can privatize us. Make the job miserable. Make your benefits go down the drain. What do you think the union's doing? We're doing everything we can. The problem is that the union spends millions of dollars advocating in court. They can blow all the money they want because they're using the taxpayers' money. Taxpayers will just raise taxes on you to pay for you to get privatized. It's time for us, the people, to understand this. If you're not a part of the union, you should probably go find your local rep and be like, hey, I'm ready to join, because you know what? If you don't, when you're privatized, it's going to be a little too late to be like, well, I wish the union could save my federal job. You will lose your retirement. You will lose your insurance. You will have a different pension plan. Life will not be the same. Your pay will not be guaranteed. Make no mistake about it. It is not that great out there for private officers, okay? You may get paid a little bit more here. They may promise you things, but let me tell you something. Promises are one thing, but delivering on promises and keeping those promises are a totally different thing, unless you have it in writing. Why do you think we have a 7.5-year contract? So I just wanted to pass along. This video is a little long. Be on the lookout for more updates. We're planning on having our membership meeting. We're going to move it to April the 20th on that Monday. So we'll see you out there at the restaurant. But be on the lookout for the final announcement for the membership meeting. We'll pump it out. But I just want to say, this is Johnny Jones, your AFG Local 1040 President and your Council 100 Secretary Treasurer, signing out from Jaguar Studios here in Fort Worth, Texas. And look, things are going to be rough, but the union has your back. And if you stay informed, knowledge is power. They can't take that away from you, and they cannot take away your rights. And we're going to continuously fight until there's no fight left. And I want to say thank you for being a member and watching the video, okay? See y'all later.